Welcome back to a new video, and on this occasion is the cluster delay from minimal audio. So let's start with the most basic controls of this delay. By default, when you go to, an edit patch, you're gonna be on 2 tabs. I'm gonna go to just 1 for now. So right here, this is the most basic part of the delay. You can control your delay time. If I go down, we can go all the way down and then go up. I guess, you can assume this. Now, of course, right now we are sync, but if we want to, we can go into free and just do milliseconds. Now, what happens if I get that detuning, which is cool. And then when you're in sync, you can use normal, which is straight, or triplets, or dots. Basic controls. For now, I'm gonna go to sync, and I'm gonna sync it to 1.8 because I like it. The next basic control is gonna be the feedback. You can go all the way up. As you go up, you get more repetitions. And since this is a digital delay, you cannot really go nuts. You can go all the way to feedback, but it's not gonna go really crazy. But you do have an analog mode. When you enable this, you're gonna get more drive on the repetitions. This is just much more aggressive. I want to say aggressive is just more dense. But still, even going all the way up, you're not going, really crazy like you would go on a tape delay or a tape emulation. But, you can do something like this. I'm gonna disable this. The next thing is gonna be the sync and the spread, but the sync belongs to the spread. So this one is actually cool because it's going to give you that separation. Right now it's just super centers right there in the middle. So if I move this, it will offset the left and the right. And the tabs right here at the display will let you know how much you're offsetting. If I keep going up, we separate it. And now we get that sweet stereo spread. A cool thing is that you can sync the spreading. So as I go up, you're never going to be out of time when you unsync the left and the right. Or you offset in this case. I'm going to do just a tiny little bit, and then you have the crossfade. And nowadays, most digital delays can do this. So, you can on this one. And this will make, I'm going to make it separated more. This will make the delay sound a little bit more smooth. The repetitions, because we are crossfading to the other side. And it is just way more smooth, choppy, smooth. Alright, so, these are the basic controls that you get on this delay. And alright, so at the right side of the plugin, we have the more creative side of the delay. At the left, these ones are the most basic controls. I'm going to be going maybe up just to get that nice stereo separation. And I have a synthesizer, very dull synthesizer. If I play it, it's going to sound like that. Right? So really dull. So by default, you have 2 tabs on an initial patch. You can do 1, of course, but then if you go up, you're going to get more. So if I go to 5, now we get something not so boring. Or just default, we get more. Now going up on the tabs will make the delay longer. But they sound amazing when you start modulating things, and you can create different types, different type of effects. Now, right here at the bottom, you have the spacing, the ramp, and the scatter. With the spacing, you can create rhythms, so you can move the tabs and just create different rhythmic patterns. And if I go to the other side, we get something else. Really cool. Now, notice that when I move this, they are freely moving. So we can just, again, create tiny little effects while moving the snap. This pacing. If you toggle the snap, it's just like the sync on the spread. And then on the other side, you have the other common controls for this, which is going to be the ramp. If we want to ramp it down, we can. And I'm just, pressing single notes so you can hear the full effect. But, if we play something. And then if you go to the other side, it's going to be, backwards. Alright, now if you want more separation within the same tabs, you can use the scatter. And this one, notice that it will pan the voices or the tabs just differently. And with this, again, you get more separation, or you get a little bit of movement between the left and the right. Now, since this can go really crazy, at the bottom you have the kill all. Whenever you click this, it's going to clear the delay, like it says right here. So you just kill it pretty much. Now again, since it can go really crazy, you can cut the lows. And I'm crushing the input. I'm gonna do a little bit less on my synthesizer. There we go. You can chop the lows and then chop the highs. Because, sometimes it's nice to separate the original signal from the wet signal. Because if not, it's just going to be way too much in the middle. So, again, normal standard controls. And this is, super, super fun. Okay, so we can do a lot with this plugin already. But, I'm missing a little bit of movement. We could, if you're working on Bitwig or maybe Ableton, where you can map the controls and start moving them, you can, generate different sounds and get that movement I'm talking about. And then, you have this section, and this is going to be all about movement. And this one, I'm going to go back to the guitar I had from before. I'm going to play the clip. If I enable this, you have different effects. Now, wobble, you're going to be getting that pitch detuning. If I go up on the depth, we can really hear it. And we can see right here the tabs just moving around, up and down. And notice that the movement is not super consistent. And it's because, we can go to sync and just make them sync to our very specific rate. And then go back. If I go down, notice that both are moving at the same pace or rate, I would say. They're moving the same. This is why we don't get that stereo spread. So if you want that stereo, go up on the width and you're going to be getting it. Now, of course, this is too much, but I'm going all the way up so you can really hear the effect. But, just a little bit of movement always helps. Now then, what else? You have the routing. And for all the different effects, you have the option of the routing, which is going to be at the input, which is at the beginning, adding this effect at the beginning before going in, then on the feedback, and then if you want, you can use it on the output. It depends on what you select, it will sound a little bit different. And it's good that they added this, because it depends on what you're trying to delay, it will, really sound different. What else can you do? If I go to the options, you have the diffusion. And this effect, at this point, this is very normal. This is a reverb type of effect. And this, of course, will push the delay effect back. And now we get a more reverb or ambient type of sound. We also have modulation. If I go crazy, you get it. I'm going to go up, maybe on the feedback, so we get a little bit more. If I go down, there's a lot less. And we could hear more of the modulation now. And just like before, you can sync. And just like before, you can go to the routing and just change it. Alright, so what else do you get? We get the chorus. And as you could think, this sounds like a delay and chorus type of thing, which is, in this world, it's something very normal. If you think about, the Memory Man or something like that, it's the chorus type of effect. But this one, again, sounds a little bit more aggressive. We can control the depth, of course, but we'll get that, that vibe. Right here you can sync because you have a rate. And if it's way too much, again, we can go down. And now it's more like, mono, let's say. It's not mono, but there we go. There's more separation. There we go. Alright, what else can we do? So we have a phaser, and at this point, I guess you get the idea. We get a more phaser type of effect, and we can really hear it. I go really aggressively. It's really, really there. Alright, so what else? We have a flanger. And at the end, the last option, it's going to be frequency shift. And this one, it's really special because we can get really crazy sounds out of this. Especially when we modulate it. And of course, I'm doing it with the mouse. It's not moving by itself, but again, if you're working with it with Ableton or maybe a DAW where you can create modulators or take modulators and map the controls, you can create really crazy and good sounds. An additional thing that we get is going to be a ducker. I'm starting on an initial patch, and I'm going to be playing that clip again. Now the duck, what it will do, it will duck the delay effect. And I'm going to go really crazy so we can, really hear it. And I'm even going to go to the diffusion so I can make it super wide. And I'm going to spread it. So, we can really hear the delay. Now the depth is going to, the ducker is going to duck the delay or the effect down when the input or the original signal is just going. If I go up, all the way up, it's ducking pretty much everything. If I go down, we are pushing it back, and then the time will decide when it comes, how it comes back when there's silence. And when the guitar starts, stops playing, we can hear the effect of the delay going up. There you go, that one. There we go, it goes up. So if we want to go down, it will really or very aggressively go up when there is a little bit of silence. But if you want a more smoother transition, you can go up and it will be really smooth. If I go really all the way up, it will never go up. So you need to find the sweet spot right here, depending on what you want to do. And okay, so this is what this delay can do. I'm gonna play some vocals. And I'm going to be going through the patches and see what we get. Now, of course, not all the different, examples are going to sound great. Maybe I'm going to need to manage the dry and the wet.
You are my bread and love, baby. You are my light in the dark. It's time to tell you, oh, baby, it's time.
I like this one.
My bread and love,
because there are vocals, I don't need to go crazy. But there's, something in the background.
It's time to tell you, oh, baby, it's time. You are.
There's all the different effects you can create. Just going through the patches. This is great for vocals. Just to create a nice ambient in the background. Notice it's using the ducker.
My bread and love, baby, you are my light in the dark. It's time.
More like a short type of reverb.
It's time.
Maybe not. Maybe not for vocals.
My bread and love, baby, you are my light in the
If I go down in time.
To tell you, oh, baby, it's time. You are my bread and love, baby. You are dark. It's time to tell you, oh baby, it's time.
Right here is using the flanger. I go all the way to dry, to wet. Hear it. So yeah, I think the vibe of this plugin. Let me stop first. Okay, so if you ask me, and this is not a review, this is not that type of video. I'm just gonna give you my opinion because why not? I would go to this delay just to get something creative out of something. If I want to get a regular bucket brigade or tape type of delay, I would go to a tape emulation or maybe a memory man type of emulation. But in this one, I will go to get something more unique, let's say, especially with the tabs and, the spacing, the ramp and everything else, you can get really, really creative sounds. And I guess this is the vibe of this plugin. If you liked all of this and learned something new, remember to like and subscribe. And this channel is supported by viewers only. If you want to buy me a coffee to say thanks, you can. Go to the links at the description. You have links for PayPal, YouTube thanks, and Patreon.